This old Strumstick is a fine instrument, but it doesn't weather very well. Here where I live, we see some pretty huge extremes of humidity from winter to summer. And in the winter, when it gets really dry here, the soundboard of my Strumstick is drying out so bad it's cracking. And for lack of any better ideas, I'm just going to push the cracks full of glue and then let it dry. Once it dries, we're going to sand the surface, get all this excess glue off, and then maybe put a light coat of oil of some kind on it, and that will be it. Just want to work the glue down into the cracks. We'll just let that dry and come back in a little while. Now I know what you're thinking. You said, "Oh, dumbass, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to clamp this and close those cracks back up." I'm specifically not doing that this time. And that may be wrong, I'll admit. But the idea is, if we leave these cracks kind of open as they were, but filled with glue, we've relieved some of the tension in this top piece of wood. Now hopefully, if that's been relieved a little bit, that will prevent further cracks from forming later on. If I clamp this down, I squeeze it all up tight, then it's all under pressure once the glue dries. And I don't know that we need any more tension built into this thin piece of wood than is already there. So far as I know, there's no bracing underneath here. What you see is what you get. So we want to try and give it the best chance we can to keep it all in one piece and still stuck to the top of the instrument. If this doesn't work, we'll come back and try something else. Okay, it's been a couple hours and the glue is pretty dry. Now we're going to sand it down with a 150 grit paper. And the trick here, I think, is to sand this really lightly. We just want to take the excess glue off the top. We don't want to cut into the wood any more than is absolutely necessary. Man, I don't know how well that shows up on video, but it looks terrible here. Let's see if we can't do something about that. Alright, well, for better or worse, this is about as clean and dry as it's going to get. So now we're going to try and finish it with some Tru-Oil. Tru-Oil is meant for gun stock finishing, but it's great for things like knife handles and guitars and other wood stuff. Tru-Oil will dry to a nice hard shiny finish, but you've got to build it up in layers. Well, that's the first coat on. Now we wait. Okay, a full day has gone by, and I've got 3 coats of the Tru-Oil on the Strumstick here. I haven't sanded it or polished it or anything between coats. I just put it on and kind of let it sit where it sits. That gives us kind of a rougher matte finish, which is in keeping with the rest of the instrument. It's not real shiny to begin with. Now we're going to put it back together and hopefully the soundboard stays in one piece. Okay, since I'll be reusing the old strings, I've left them attached up at the tuning pegs. This should make them pretty easy to put back together. But before we do that, I have to mention that I've made one other modification to this instrument that it doesn't originally come with. I don't know if you can see, but over the years, this is actually starting to get pretty chewed up from where the strings sit. I felt that I had to put something in there to stop that damage. So, this is just a little piece of nickel-plated brass. This is actually cut from a 38 special bullet casing. It was about a 1-inch square, bent to a 90-degree angle, and then in one corner, one side in the middle, I've cut a small notch. That notch fits over the string pins here in the back to lock it in place, keep it from bouncing around too much, just like that. And the strings hook over these little, what I think are just brass tacks stuck in the bottom of the Strumstick. Just like that. Once we put a little tension on it, this tailpiece is going to be held securely in place. Now that we've got the strings in place and they've got a little tension on them, it's time to install the bridge. The bridge for the Strumstick is just a little wedge of what I believe to be rosewood, and it's got some string slots cut into it. And we just pull up on the strings a little bit, slip the bridge under, and slide it into place. There's two small index marks on the soundboard of the Strumstick that show you where the bridge should go. It's pretty easy to locate. You don't have to worry about messing up your scale length or anything. As long as you line up your bridge with those pinpricks, your intonation should be pretty well okay. Anyway, that was how you do a quick and easy repair on the McNally Strumstick. Hope you had fun, and we'll see you in the next video.